I think the word architecture is a good one because it tells us the perspective that we have to take regarding this issue. IT architecture. Because architecture, generally, we understand is this perspective which you take about the overall idea about building the buildings. It is not limited to identifying what should be the beam strength or pillar strength or where should the window be, door should be. No, no. Architecture is not bothered about the structural elements. Rather, architecture believes in taking a holistic view of not only the elements but about the people who live in there, right? Everything. In fact, the principle of architecture, they say, is to make a building living friendly kind of an, creating a living friendly kind of an environment. So that idea is brought in here. So first what we have to think is building an IT architecture, right? A framework for the entire application of information technology inside an organization. Well, how do we start with? We'll start like this. This is basically I am developing on Rainer Urban Potter's idea. We are focusing on a business organization. How to understand in architecture? To start with, let us say what are the components involved in a modern business organization. Let me identify basically three communication needs of an organization. The first need is that any business organization today has a need to establish a secure communication network within the organization. This is the organization itself. So within the organization there is a need for a communication network. This is of one type. Later, there are few players who I may call as trusted players. The organization needs to have a secure connection with this trusted players who have an important stake in my business. The people here include suppliers, the people who provide me the finance, either financial institutions or banking institutions. I should have a secure network with them. All my dealers, with them I should have a separate network. And outside this, let me say, is the outer world comprising of my customers. I don't know where they are. Right? There are other players who come into the picture with whom I may have a kind of an informal network. So, any business organization, if you consider, this is the basic structure from which you can, it's a basic building block. There is an organization, there are trusted players, and there is the outside world, the public world, let us say. The challenge for modern day information science engineer is to design an overall system which can integrate all these three components in a seamless manner. Any technology, you know, can be mapped to this basic architecture. Let us look at the network perspective. See, we have to build an entire information system. Necessarily means we have to give them hardware, software and everything. We are not only interested in deploying a software. The first necessity will be that we will network everything. What is the network take on this? How do we look at the whole thing from a network perspective? Conceptually, let me tell you, you know all this idea. See, basically in this course, we don't learn anything new. Whatever you learn in different courses, we will try to summarize it and put that to a particular use. In networks, we have the conceptual division of networks into three ways. They're called intranet, extranet and internet with a capital I. Internet with a capital I. Internet with a small I means different thing. So, The same thing is done here. Inside an organization, we will deploy intranet. This is necessarily extranet. Extranet. This is it. So what I am saying is, this is how we will understand it. Right? This can be, now see, within an organization is not that a simple idea. A business organization today may be housed in a single building, or maybe it may be deployed in different buildings within a given geographical location, or in a particular country there may be different locations, or across different countries. I am taking all of them together. Now if you have to link all of them together, think of an organization like IBM, which has a global presence. Now if I say that I am connecting all their officers, what is the technology I should deploy? That is what we have to think. So in a network class, when you are thinking about different kinds of networks, ring, bus or other things, please bear in mind, it is not only knowing the definition but knowing where to apply it here. When you talk about wireless internet, wireless network, Wi-Fi, WiMAX, where can I deploy Wi-Fi, where can I deploy WiMAX? That should be understood. Okay, let us take one more perspective. Talking from a different application perspective, this kind of doing the things, that is, between the organization and its trusted players, is what we call as B2B e-commerce. B2B e-commerce, and this is B2C e-commerce. Right? Or take a very different perspective. The kind of technologies which are deployed, which will help the organization to have a kind of a one-to-one relationship with its customers, who may be anywhere in the world, is today called as CRM, Customer Relation Management softwares, right? And the kind of software deployed to have a kind of a link from your suppliers, financial institutions, to you, to your wholesale dealers and other things, is what is necessarily called as supply chain management. And the whole framework technology which will help you integrate the different functional units of your organization is what is called as ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning. So what I am saying is, this architecture model is very interesting, because whatever you discuss here, it can fit into this. In fact, I can go a step ahead and maybe collect some of the details from your information storage management ideas, the NAS and CAS ideas, and put it here. That we may do a bit later. But anyway, so necessarily IT architecture is a starting point. So whenever you are encountered with a customer who wants an information system or an IT solution, the first question you should ask is this distinction clear? Start with the basic building blocks, right? And then see what kind of solutions you can prescribe in that context. That is judgment. For example, I can take any technology that you know and put it here. For example, take the technology like firewall. Now, where does firewall fit into all these in this architecture? Firewall is required here, necessarily, right? When the internal network gets connected to the external networks, there should be some kind of filtering of data. So you need a firewall. That's how we are. See, is the idea of architecture, is it coming in your mind? That you are necessarily drawing a plan, right? wherein you decide what technology should be deployed where. How is not the question. Please understand. We are not going into the depths of the implementational issues. We are giving the overall picture like architects do. And moreover, in developing such kind of solutions, elegance, aesthetics should also be there. You can't simply give a dirty solution just because it is cheap. Right? So I think this thing will come only by practice. Every case, if you try to draw an architecture, try to see, understand what is the new technology which is coming in, where will I deploy it, and other things, you will grow more as a complete professional. For example, let us take a simple issue of hardware. What kind of machine should you deploy in the client place? What kind of machines? Does every clerk in the organization require a super dual core kind of system, or a small system is sufficient? Should we go for client server architecture? All these issues can be discussed. Now what I am saying is, start with these three simple blocks and elaborate as much you can. Just like architects start with one or two basic ideas and then completely draw a separate electrical plan, a separate plumbing plan and things like that. We too should do that. So from this architecture we have a complete network plan, network layout diagram. Right? Where should we place the server? What should be the connectivity rate? Whether there will be a Wi-Fi. If there are, where will be the Wi-Fi spots? Whether we will deploy WiMAX. What is the security infrastructure required for that? We'll go on discussing that. But this is a basic thing. This is clear? Right? So three things we'll start building over that. This is, I think, one of the important things in this book. Very good. But he has not explained the idea clearly. He has just drawn one diagram and left it there. So I have elaborated this. The second idea is about IT infrastructure.